Alright guys, hope you guys are all doing well. Welcome back. So, I'm draining that thing again on my hand. I actually just ran into the doctor who gave me the needle and she said we can cut it open. And it won't fill back up. I kind of don't want to do that because then it's just like, I guess a bigger wound, it just feels like a bigger pain in the ass. But it keeps filling back up and it's kind of annoying. It's funny, so I got this little thing, it's called the Mighty. I forgot if I talked about it yet or not, but you know, it's like a little iPod. Yeah, I did talk about it last video. Anyways, I also got these wired earphones, and there's like this trend now going on about how Bluetooth is like bad and having Bluetooth things, and then that's not why I had now anyways. I did it because I didn't feel like connecting all the time to my, like I have my Apple AirPods, they're connected to my computer, they're connected to my phone, but this is, I can just plug it into the Mighty, it's a little easier. Okay. These things called splinter outs, it just is like a little needle, it's sterile, so that's kind of what I've been using to drain it. Alright. Let's get this going here. I've never been very squeamish around blood. But I remember when I was in college at Rutgers on the powerlifting team, people would scrape their shins against the bar and there would be blood on it. And I was like, whatever. I mean, as long as you don't have AIDS. But then people would get really upset. They'd be like, why are you not cleaning off the bar? Why are you not cleaning off the bar? I was like, I guess it is kind of gross getting blood places, but it just looks cool. You know, obviously if you're gushing out blood, that's different. But if you like cut your hand open or something like that, it's like, damn, it's tough. Alright. But anyways, today let's talk about what we're actually doing here. Today we got some bench. Working up to 460 for 3. I've done 3 sets of 3 bench prior. Basically prior right before my dip competition, so not too afraid of that. I could use kilos or I could use pound plates. These guys usually, they love lifting on freaking kilos for powerlifting. 2 issues with that. 1, the math for an American. Pounds are so much easier. I don't have to whip out my calculator every freaking time. 2, you know, each plate is it's just 90, 90, 90 versus with kilos, it's 110, 110, 110 with a 25-pound plate. So I actually feel like I get more warm-ups in using pound plates. Typically I go plate, plate, quarter, plate, quarter, plate. So I'll get a little bit more warming up in. That's one aspect of things. Another aspect of things too, it looks so much cooler. Your steel pound. I need to watch my mouth a little bit more. But, so I think I'll be going with pounds. Let's see if it really makes a difference. At least right now. Maybe as I get closer, I'll start using kilos. I have not noticed a difference. I've noticed these pound plates are just as accurate as the kilo plates, in the sense that my strength is still pretty much the same whether I'm using either. Right. Should not have thrown that out, but let's get this in. I have a feeling this is going to come off pretty quickly. Unfortunately, I do not have any athletic tape to wrap my hand around. Maybe I'll go find some. All right, guys, see you on the bench. All right,
Week 1, day 2 bench press. Got a fun workout today. 5 sets of 3, 380, this is 385, 400, this it's gonna be 405, then 440, 460. Honestly, I feel really, really good. So I might add 5 pounds to those, just because I don't feel like breaking out the 2.5s, but I actually might stick to the program. We'll just see. We'll see how things are moving. After that, we got a static hold with 555, just holding it there 5 seconds. And then we move on some dumbbell presses and get some bodybuilding work in. I feel really good. I feel really powerful, so I feel like this workout is not going to take too long. My goal here is just to truck through or tank through the workout, just intense, fast, explosive, high energy. Start the prep off right. All right, 385, here we go. One thing you're gonna notice me doing, I set my grip first, then I'll set my back, pinching the shoulders in a little bit, but mostly pulling the shoulders down. And I'm keeping my glutes are only lightly touching the bench. I'm focusing most of my tension into my quad. Okay, here we go. Huss! Huss! Very easy. Huss! 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 Yep. All right, we got 425 on the bar. Just another easy set of 3. Here we go. Huss! Huss! 445. Here we go. Very easy. Come on, motherfucker. Huss! All right, 465 for an easy 3 here. One thing I've noticed is that I'm using my arms to take the weight out instead of using my hips. So I'll try with this weight. Now, it's very heavy weight. You should really be practicing that with lighter weight, but not an issue. Let's get it. Yes, come on. Yes. That was easy. Let's go. All right, at 465, felt like I moved better than a 445. Two reasons. Number one, biggest, probably 90% of the reason, more amps, that's it. I can get amps for a top set. So, felt light. Second reason, probably to the lesser extent, I haven't checked the video, but I felt like I was able to use my hips to get myself in position and kept my shoulders, like worked under the bar, got my shoulders in position, and then used my hips to bring the bar out instead of using my arms to bring the bar out. Now, whether or not I did it in the video, that's how it felt, and that's what we should be going for self-unracked. Get your shoulders in position, hips up high, unrack it, bring your hips down, boom, clearance with the bar, go. Third reason, I felt like I kept a good tight arch, but I let that bar sink into me a little bit more at the bottom, so I wasn't having tension on my chest, like a typical soft touch would be. Depends on the lifter, depends on what you guys are used to. I'm coming from a background of letting it sink. Well, I don't really collapse, but I'll let it sink and then go. So I'm trying to combine the focus and tension in my thoracic arch for the stability aspect of it, with the ability to kind of relax and explode at the bottom by letting that bar sink into my chest a little bit more. I still have to play and find that perfect combination because I do feel a lot more powerful. I feel like the weight moves a lot faster when I let the bar relax, but if I let it relax too much and I don't keep tension in my upper back, it's not very predictable. I'm not good at repetitions. It could be there, could not be there. So we need the predictability with good stable form, but I want the power and explosiveness that my muscle fiber type allows for. So we're gonna do a heavy hold, 555, and then, so I'm basically throwing a 45 on here, and then we're gonna move on to some bodybuilding accessory movements. I think I'm gonna stop talking until we finish out there, all right? So, see you at the end.
What is up, my peeps? It's the freaking light in the back. Home dogs, what is up? Finishing up episode 2 here on a bench press day. Chest feeling nice and pumped. Anyways, talking a little quieter, girls in the bed, getting her beauty rest, but I am making these YouTube video gains with y'all. Anyways, what we hit for bench today, 465, moved very nice, very, very nice. I want to talk about the 2 accessory movements I hit at the end, dumbbell chest press and that tricep exercise you saw me do. Dumbbell chest press. Can I do more weight than 150s? And can I get 150s for like 10 plus reps? Yeah, I could kind of slingshot out of the bottom, I could rep it real fast, but that's not my goal. My goal is actually for control, is to exert as much control as I possibly can on those dumbbells to mimic my bench press setup as much as possible. And so that's one aspect of it. The other aspect is just chest, shoulder, tricep hypertrophy. And with that stability aspect is the shoulder, with the setup aspect of it is the shoulder stability. And a lot of people sleep on the dumbbells. It's not just a gym bro exercise. You need to stabilize. When you have 150 pounds in each hand, your shoulders need to learn to stabilize, co-contract, and eventually prevent injuries because you know how to stabilize those shoulders. Now, the second exercise that you see me doing with those tricep extensions, yeah, does it look a little sciencey, bro? Yeah, I understand. But I was prescribed a dumbbell tricep extension, and in the past, those have bothered my elbows, and I don't want my elbows to get inflamed at all going into this national prep. That's something for me to play around with and explore after nationals. But right now, we need to keep the elbows as healthy as possible. I know how to do that with cables. I don't want to do a tricep extension push down. I've done so many of those in the past. It's boring. I want to find something new. So what I wanted is something with a little bit more stability. So I was going to lay down, and then the dual is kind of to mimic the dumbbells on the tricep. So instead of having just one cable pulling down, like a tricep rope push down, instead of that, I did dual cables with the cuffs, and I put it kind of in my hand. This allows me to take the wrist joint out of the movement and really just focus on the triceps. Little things like that, and finding, okay, what's the goal of the exercise? And if the exercise I can't perform for some reason, well, I can still find another exercise to match those goals. Every exercise I program as a coach has a particular reason behind it. Sometimes it's just it's a hypertrophy exercise, let's get bigger. But a lot of times that's not the case. Even small isolation movements like a bicep curl can have a particular reason. I was explaining this to one of my athletes the other day, a machine preacher curl, right? With the pad, full extension, curling up. When you're doing that, what's happening? Well, you're gonna get a lot of tension at that stretch position and typically kind of at the tendon in the lower bicep area. This gets real sore. Well, that's the same spot that gets very sore for a lot of lifters when they're bench pressing, because the bicep plays a role in stability. So when we're doing the preacher curl, there's a reason we're doing that preacher curl. One, bigger biceps, better control, more cushion at the bottom. Bigger arms is going to equal a bigger bench. But two, well, that stability aspect at the elbow, building a more resilient elbow, building a more resilient bicep tendon so we don't get injured, so we can continue to push the bench press. Everything kind of comes into play. We got to think things through. We make a plan. We focus on the objective for that plan, and then we execute. If things throw us off that plan, it's not a problem. We know the general layout, and we can adapt. We can call audibles. But at the end of the day, we're going for the objective. We're going for the goal, and that's to win nationals.